Hello, everybody. I'm going to do this in English for our international friends. And I've been working all night, most of the nights, to come up with ideas how we can help ourselves and what we need to do in this, I would say, crisis time. This is definitely a crisis time. And on Thursday, we're going to be giving a webinar, and you can inscribe with the link. So just click on the link. It's a free webinar, and we're going to give you more facts and the truth that you need to know. Also, what really happened in China, what's happening right now in the Europe, and why the government is not doing enough, and also that we all will suffer together. I'm an optimist, but this is really, really serious, and do not believe it's over in 2 weeks. And I'm going to explain that today and more in the webinar coming up. So I want you to know that's going to be really, really tough for a lot of people. A lot of people will die. And the best thing we can do is to know what to do exactly. And do know this, that right now in homeopathy, there are possibilities to create a vaccine. And I have a friend of mine who's working day and night to create the first homeopathic vaccination for the coronavirus. And this is very, very important, especially for the older people. And I'm going to explain in this short video what is really, really going on and why we should not panic, but why we need to take precautions. If you believe for a moment that in 2 weeks everything is going to turn back to normal, it's not going to happen, because there's some things that even the government is not aware of right now. So we need to really be prepared. So I'm going to share with you some things that not a lot of people know at this point in time, and that you need to know in order to take the right precautions. My first request to you is to share this video, because this is not about me making some money or whatever. I'm going to give you some tips that nobody has given you so far, but that can really change your life and can save your life. So when this is over, or if you want now, tag some people, because this is very, very important what we're going to be sharing. Number one, this is a new virus like humanity has never seen before. In the webinar, I also will tell you what really happened in China. Right now, that's not important. It is totally not important. This is not conspiracy theory or whatever. So what you need to know is the difference between linear growth and exponential growth. Yes, I cannot do it in Dutch right now, sorry. It has to be in English for all our international friends. But don't worry, you can ask someone to translate this video for you. Je kan iemand vragen om dit met je te vertalen. I wish I could do it in Dutch, German, and Italian. We will be teaching a workshop in 4 languages the end of this month, 28th and 29th of March. We will be doing a 2-day workshop in order to teach you how to make your own preparations, but also how to treat yourself when you're sick. In the webinar, we will give you tips. So in the webinar, we'll give you tips how to prepare and how to use homeopathy the best way possible. But let me first explain to you the difference between linear growth and exponential growth. Linear growth goes like 2, 4, 8, no, like 2, 4, 6, and then you go to 8, 10, 12, 14. This is not linear growth. This is exponential growth. And the exponential growth can go 4, 8, 32, 64,000. That's exponential growth. And that's what we see happening with this virus, is because, and this is the biggest problem, when people get sick, they already have been sick for 1 up to 3 weeks. Understand that? So the moment you start getting symptoms, it could be that you've been infected already for 7 days up to 14 days. And here's the kicker. The bad news is, Snezana says she doesn't like that I say code red. and she's scared. Well, you better be scared, but what I'm going to tell you is what to do. Better than to be scared is to know what to do. And just follow. I'll give you tips that can save lives, and not only of you, but of others. The big problem is that healthy people with no symptoms can be infecting other people. This makes it a code red for everyone, because we do not know who is sick or not. Just washing your hands and not shaking hands is not good enough. One person in a bus can infect all other people in the bus. So the best thing to do right now is what we call social distance. Social distance means to basically not to go out, not to be in groups of people. And I'm going to explain to you why. And this sounds like I'm going crazy. You can laugh at me, you can think I'm crazy, but the biggest dangers in society right now are people who are healthy. First of all, I want to express my deepest gratitude, my deepest respect for the doctors in the hospital, because the doctors in the hospitals are now on the front line. What does that mean? Is that they have a 90% chance of being infected, and yet they have to follow the code of honor. So I want all of you to pray for our doctors in the hospitals, to send them love, to send them light, and to really think about what they are doing. And some of these doctors are being overwhelmed by what's going to happen. And this is just the beginning. Let me give you a few statistics that you need to know. This started out in Italy for certain specific reasons, which has to do with the textile industry, because a lot of Chinese work there in bad conditions in another part of Italy. And the Lombardy, where it started, is one of the best places, the highest rank intensive care and hospital in the world, in the top 1 bracket. Holland right now is not in the number 1. In Holland, Zeeland is the place which is in the top 3, 4, 5, 6%. So Holland is not as prepared as Italy. And see what happened in Italy. The lockdown did not happen fast enough. And because the lockdown didn't happen fast enough, it exploded exponentially. So I want you, and yes, sorry, also the nurses, and thank you for saying that, Cindy. It's not only the doctors, but I'm talking about all the people now working in the front line of the hospitals are going to be overwhelmed by what's going to happen by the exponential growth. So this is a new pattern of disease we've not seen before. Here's the problem. It can start mild, and then you recover, and you think it's over, and then it can come back even worse. So we are behind the facts for 1 to 5 weeks. So everything you see happening, if they say 100 people died, it means that 3 weeks from now, that can be 1,000 people because of the exponential growth. And that's what we see happening all over the world, even in countries like South Korea, who have a lot of testing. In Holland and in Europe, in most of the countries, we do not have enough corona test kits. So a lot of people will not go and be tested. The second thing is when the hospitals get overwhelmed, the doctors have to make choices, and they have to decide who they can treat and who they cannot treat. And in the hospitals, we do not have enough masks, number 1, for the doctors. We don't have enough incubators to give people oxygen, so that the hospitals are going to be run down, overwhelmed, and a lot of people will be dying, just like in China, where people dying on the streets. The question is, how long will this last? I will tell you that in a moment, because the lockdown is just the beginning. And we are already too late with the lockdown. The lockdown should have happened with the first symptom, the first problem. Now, let me give you some more facts. We are running 3 to 5 weeks behind the facts. The schools should already be locked down. The places where people gather should have been already locked down. So we are already 2 to 3 weeks too late with the lockdown. We do not have enough test kits, and not everyone will be tested. Now here's the problem with those people who say, I don't know how to call these people who say, oh, I'm not going to get a disease, I'm going to be fine, nothing to worry about. I am a very optimistic person, but I've been studying the coronavirus since it started in China. We have helped over 60,000 Chinese people in China with all kinds of stuff, and we're going to give some of this to you too. If you inscribe for a webinar, you will get immediately a little booklet, and you will get a audio meditation to help prep up your immune system. Very, very important. And I'm going to also give you some more tips in this Facebook Live that you can start with right away, and some things you've never heard before, so be ready for those tips. So let me tell you something else. The normal symptoms: fever, 88% of the people with the coronavirus will have a fever. Dry cough, 68%. Fatigue, 38%. Short breath, 19%. Muscle and joint aches, 15%. Throat problems, 14%. Headaches, 14%. So if you have one of these symptoms, consider yourself to be infected right away and isolate yourself. That's very, very important. We'll get back to that. People at risk, of course, we know older people at risk, but also people with heart conditions, people with high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, people who smoke are at risk. Kids are at least at risk. Only 2.4% under 19 years old, and only 2.7% of the kids will get severe problems. Now let me tell you what's different with this virus with any other virus we had before. This virus creates an effect in the lungs that is called a double interstitial pneumonia. And what happens is that it creates what we call a kind of a fibrosis that normally we do not see this fast. This is the first time we see lung fibrosis happening this fast. What is lung fibrosis? That means that the elasticity of the lungs will become less. It will get filled with fluids. You cannot breathe anymore. Your oxygen will go down, and then when you have that problem, you get short of breath. You need to go to the hospital. The hospitals are full, and the whole cycle will be that they will have to refuse you. So I'm going to give you some tips how to prepare for those case scenarios. And in the webinar, we're going to give you exact advice what you need to have at home when you get the first symptoms. And in the workshop, we're going to teach you how to make your own vaccination if you get sick. So that's one of the things you need to know. So let me repeat, exponential growth. This is the biggest problem for this kind of disease. We've never seen that before. It will explode. So it will start slow, like now, and then it will accelerate, and that will create an overwhelm of the intensive care units in the hospital. And because of that, people will be turned away, and because of that, people will die at home. And here's the biggest problem. If you're healthy, you can still have the virus and you still can infect others. So let's all be wise, because we need to protect the older people. We need to protect the weak people. And in this case, if you have parents or you have, let's say, grandparents or whatever, we need to protect them as well. So we need to watch all of that. Shoni zegt, denk positief zoals je leert in kwantumveld. Nee, no Shoni. Don't think positive. Prepare. Thinking positive alone is not going to work. Panic is not going to work. Fear is not going to work. Knowing what you do. In the webinar, we will teach you how to handle fear. In the webinar, we will teach you which homeopathics to have. Gianluca says, here in Lombardia, we are in a very challenging situation, but we will make it. Of course, you're going to make it. But for a lot of people, they need to know what needs to be done. So, the fibrosis is the biggest problem that's going to happen. And here's my theory. My theory is that when you're older, your elasticity of the lungs are less, and because of that, the virus will have a bigger impact on your, let's say, on your lungs. Omega is also in summer. The virus is known not to be, is weak against heat and against dryness. So that's very important. the virus can stay on certain things like your phones. You need to clean your phones also. You need to wash your clothes more often, especially if you go outside and you go into groups of people. When you get home, I'm going to tell you what to do. So first thing we need to know, the lockdown will last, I guess, anywhere between 3 up to 6 weeks because of the exponential growth. The biggest problems still need to happen. We are too late with the lockdown in Austria, in Germany, in Switzerland, in Holland, in Belgium. We are already too late. So the effects will continue because a lot of people are already infected. They will infect their families and this will become a big problem. So here's the number one thing I want you to do. Ilonka zegt, dit is toch aan iedereen, je moet je straks enkel zien om de link te krijgen. I don't know what you mean. If you don't want to inscribe, fine. I'm trying to help. In the webinar is for free. We will give you a lot of tips. We will tell you the truth. We'll give you the facts, what we know, what we don't know. There's much more going on than we do know right now. And the biggest problem is that most people do not realize what this really means. Snezana is full of fear. I'm sorry for you. A lot of people are panicking right now. In the webinar, we will teach you techniques how to deal with fear. But the main thing, when you inscribe for the webinar, you will get right away a meditation that will help you deal with the fear. Listen to it 3-4 times a day. It will prep up your immune system. And it contains special frequencies. For the people who are known with Heling, that's a little machine, a device, I would recommend you to get one, because it will help you with your immune system. We'll talk about this in the webinar. And also, if you want us to help you with that, which is fine, write an email to healy@crystalline.com. Healy, you write Healy @crystalline, Christ, like you say Christ, all, ALLin.com, and we'll send you information on this. We are using this every day, prepping up our immune system. I would recommend to everyone. It is not cheap. It costs like 500 euros, but we believe it really, really helps. In China, we had a lot of people using the Healy, and some people around them get infected and they had only mild symptoms. Could be coincidence. I'm not in the business of selling Healy. I'm in the business of recommending Healy. Okay, here is a few tips I have for you. Number one tip, write this down. Grab a piece of paper and write down what I'm going to tell you right now. Because this is very, very important. Number one, I recommend you write in for the webinar. Share this video with as many people as you can. Number two, if you don't feel well, stay at home. Okay? That's number important thing. Number three, get, if you can, these 3 aroma oils. Number one, tea tree oil. You write it tea like you tea to drink, tea, and then tree like a tree. This tea tree oil, TEA, tree, TREE oil, also called, let me see, Melaleuca alternifolia, tea tree oil. Tea tree oil kills viruses on impact, okay? 1 drop of tea tree oil in water that you drink. Put it in a big can, 1 liter, 2 liters of water, preferably not plastic. And drink every 50 minutes a little sip of water. The tea tree oil will destroy the viruses. And by drinking water, you will swallow it, goes into your stomach, and the stomach will also destroy the viruses. You don't want the virus to go into your lungs. Okay, that's number one. Get a humidifier. If you can't, take a bowl of water, make warm water, and put a few drops of tea tree oil, eucalyptus oil, and peppermint oil. Those 3 combinations are good for the lungs, and they will clean the lungs. And every time you are there near the humidifier, breathe it in. Very important. This tip you will get nowhere else. Share it with your friends. Tea tree oil, which is also called Melaleuca, and then eucalyptus and peppermint. These 3 combined, put it into warm water or a humidifier, a vaporizer, And then every 15 minutes, breathe this in. If you work in an office space, have humidifier close to you so that it will get into your lungs. Remember, this is a very important tip that can save lives. If you get sick, you need to have the tea tree oil, eucalyptus and peppermint and breathe in it as much as you can to clean your lungs and to kill the viruses. Very important tip. Share this with your friends. All right, so you got a diffuser. You can use the tea tree oil in water, 1 drip on 1 liter water, 1 drop in 1 liter water, and then drink every 15 minutes. Drink a sip of water. Keep your throat moist. That will be a very important tip. Okay, next tip. All right, talk with your family. What do you do? Create a protocol. What are you stressing about? What are your fears? We will give you in the webinar how to deal with fears. Get the meditation. Listen to it together. It will help for the whole family. Put it on when you go to sleep. It is for free. We give it in China to more than 60,000 people. That in itself can help boost up your immune system. Next tip. Do deep breathing. We will show you in the webinar other ways of breathing. In the workshop, we will show you even deeper ways of breathing. But breathe in deeply. Get those lungs oxygenated. Also, every 15 minutes, take a few deep breaths in so you keep the oxygen in your system running. All right? Ellen said, or 1 drop directly in the mouth every hour, bad for your stomach. And I don't agree with you, Ellen, but you can do whatever you want. I don't care. Put it in water. If you put 1 drop, you will have to be very careful with tea tree oil. There will not be a lot available unless you have a lot. Put in 1 liter water. That's the best advice I can give you right now. Okay, so for the Dutch people, tea tree oil, dat is melaleuca, in wat water. En elke 15 minuten een slokje van nemen. En ook in een verdamper. Eucalyptus, pepermunt, tea tree oil, verdampen. Als je geen verdamper hebt, warm water. Elke 15 minuten vers warm water. Inademen. Elke 15 minuten om de longen vrij te maken van virussen. Los niet op in water. Whatever, Ellen. I'm not going to discuss with you right now. So, deep breathing, tea tree oil, eucalyptus, and so on. Now, last tip I want to give today is do not drink milk, do not eat dairy products, because these create mucus in the lungs and in the gut. Best is to take some probiotics. You can use yogurt. If yogurt is not commercial yogurt, it is right turning yogurt, that's fine. But no milk, no normal milk. Milk is bad for the lungs and the sinuses. You don't want to have that. Avoid, if possible, dairy products, meat also, and go over to vegetables and a lot of fruits. Avoid protein as much as possible because proteins, animal proteins, lower your pH, your blood becomes acid, and you want to have alkaline blood. So more veggies, more salads, more fruits. Avoid heavy foods. Stay light. Clean your intestines. So maybe do a little fasting, 1 day fasting, only juice fasting for 1 day. Clean your system. Take liver and kidney teas to clean your lymph system and your liver and kidney. Should I take steam of those oils? Yes, Abba. You want to steam, especially tea tree oil. In your environment, use tea tree oil in your cleansing because tea tree oil kills viruses. 1 drop in a 1 liter, it will kill viruses. So, those are, what do you have to do with a baby of 9 months to drink milk? Sarah, if you give me your baby milk, it's the worst thing you can give your baby. Get almond milk. 9 months, almond milk is good. Rice milk is good. And oat milk is the best for babies right now. Milk, but the baby is safe. Don't worry about the baby. Babies don't get the coronavirus so much, but I would prefer you to go to oat milk and to that kind of stuff. There is a book, if you're Dutch, there's a book I wrote many years ago, and it's about milk. See if you can find it, the book. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so iemand zegt tea tree olie, merk. the brand is not important. Any brand is good. Tea tree oil is tea tree oil for now. Don't worry about brand. I don't know any brand. Any brand you get is good. Take, if you can, vitamin C as much as you can tolerate. As soon as you reach the intolerance point, you will get like diarrhea, and then you cut back, and then you will stay 1 gram under the diarrhea level. The vitamin C brand is not important. The cheapest brand is good because it's not about the quality of the brand, it's about the ascorbic acid. That's the vitamin C. Okay, these are my tips for you right now. Deep breathing, tea tree oil, eucalyptus, peppermint, avoid milk, meat and dairy. And if you don't feel well, stay at home. Know that we all will suffer because of this pandemic that's going on right now. Businesses will go bankrupt. A lot of problems will happen. But the main thing right now is survival. We will deal with the other problems later. I expect the lockdown to show results should be 4 to 6 weeks. That's the bad news. The good news is in that time you can do other things. Inscribe for the webinar. If you want, you can inscribe for the workshop right away. We will live stream the workshop. By that time, everything will be on total lockdown, so we can only live stream, and we'll be giving you more tips, and we do more than that. If someone asked about vitamin D, vitamin D3, you can take up to 2,000 units a day. That will help also with the lungs, and it also improves the immune system. But that will be in the booklet you get when you inscribe for the webinar. You will get 1, an audio, 2, a booklet, and then read the booklet. It's very basic, very simple. We'll tell you which vitamins to use. Also other herbs like elderberry, all those things are in the booklet. Download the booklet, download the meditation, and more tips will come. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry that I'm so fast. I look a little bit tired. I am totally focused on researching this thing. We're working on a vaccination right now. I will teach you in the workshop how to do auto vaccinations. If someone gets sick in your home, what to do. We will get to that. I'm preparing all of that. It's a lot of work. No, I'm working day and night. And from my heart, pray for the doctors and nurses. They are really suffering right now. Sorry I get emotional, but a lot of people suffer. So pray for them. Send your love to all the doctors, the nurses, and the people who are sick. We all together, when we send out positive thoughts, we all will get stronger. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye-bye.